Hello, welcome to ITV News Central for the East Midlands. On our programme this evening, Nottinghamshire's council leader apologises to survivors of historic child sex abuse.
Some children were entrusted to our care and we failed them.
What a relief that today they've finally heard our voices.
Good evening. The leader of Nottinghamshire County Council has made a public apology for historical abuse suffered by children in the authority's care. It's thought hundreds of young people were sexually and physically abused at children's homes run by the council going back to the 1960s.
Listening to the speech from Kay Cutts, who has served as a councillor since 1989, were several abuse survivors. Some said it was a relief, others that it was too little, too late. Our correspondent Peter Bean reports from County Hall.
Thank you, I want the leader to make a statement.
The occasion was a meeting of the full council, the chamber packed, as Kay Cutts addressed decades of failure by the authority to protect children in its care.
Sadly, there is a dreadful stain on the history of this council that we must neither refute nor excuse. Some children were entrusted to our care and we failed them. We now know that they were subjected to horrible and heinous abuse that has left many damaged and scarred for life.
Listening in the public gallery, some of the victims and those who campaigned on their behalf. Then came the words they so wanted to hear.
On behalf of this council and as its leader, I now want to express my deepest and heartfelt apology to all the survivors from this dark period in our history.
It's one of my proud moments, and to be acknowledged for the work we've been done, I have to say, and an art to Miss Cutts, thank you very much.
Not good enough.
More than 300 people have come forward claiming they were abused at children's homes such as Beechwood in Lackley. Last month, a former social worker at Beechwood, Barry Pigg, was given a 6-year prison sentence. In 2016, another abuser, Andrews Loggins, was jailed for 20 years. After that case, the then leader of Nottinghamshire County Council, Alan Rhodes, also issued a formal apology.
There are people out there, including victims, who believe that people who were in authority at that time knew that things were going on and allowed it to continue. For the record, can you say now that you had no knowledge or any suspicions that anything untoward was going on in those homes?
I have absolutely no knowledge, and I did not have any suspicions that there was a nature of this sexual abuse going on anywhere, and I would not, even as a junior councillor, have put up with it if I had known that.
The survivors' thoughts now turn to the ongoing National Independent Inquiry into Child Sexual Abuse. This October, it will hold a public hearing into the abuse allegations in Nottinghamshire. Peter Bean, ITV News, West Bridgford.
And just to be clear, the survivors in Peter Bean's report there all waived their right to anonymity.
Also tonight, a council leader makes a personal apology to survivors of historical sexual abuse.
I now want to express my deepest and heartfelt apology to all the survivors from this dark period in our history.
Survivors of decades of abuse in children's homes have received a personal apology from the leader of Nottinghamshire County Council.
Kay Cutts was speaking as the authority spelled out its commitment to support the national inquiry into child sex abuse. Our social affairs correspondent, Jeremy Ball, reports.
The old Beechwood Children's Home, where the abuse scandal first emerged. But what really happened all those years ago, and how can you put it right?
I now want to express my deepest and heartfelt apology.
Today, some of those survivors came to County Hall for this pledge from the council's leader.
You will have a voice, and you will be heard. There is a dreadful stain on the history of this council. Some children were entrusted to our care, and we failed them. We now know that they were subjected to horrible and heinous abuse that has left many damaged and scarred for life. The fact that this has happened is something that leaves me personally feeling deeply saddened and ashamed.
And we've finally done it.
So was it enough for Josephine and Mickey? They were both residents at Beechwood, and they've both come forward as survivors.
You know what, I can't even cry because I've done my crying. But my sadness is now happened. I am so happy. I cannot believe the way I feel. I knew one day it would happen, but when, I just didn't want it to be when I was dead.
I've waited 50 years for something like this, and I've battled this since 2003, so it's massive.
It's our role to keep children safe, and we clearly did it.
They've already had an apology from the council's previous Labour leader, and 350 former children in care have told Nottinghamshire Police they were abused. This former residential social worker, Andres Logins, was jailed for rape, but with so little proof after so much time, it's one of only a handful of successful prosecutions. So now many are pinning their hopes on the independent child sex abuse inquiry. That's trying to establish the scale of what happened and to learn lessons for the future.
It could be quite a tough time for this council, couldn't it, to be answering some pretty difficult questions?
I imagine it makes extraordinary time. We shall have to face the things that have happened in the past. Those things we can't put right, we can only put right the future, and that's where I'm looking now.
The County Council's already spent almost £1 million preparing evidence, trawling through allegations and records going right back to the 1940s for an inquiry that's trying to unearth some of Nottinghamshire's darkest secrets. Jeremy Ball, BBC Midlands Today, West Bridgford.